Hi everybody, I'm Claire and this is my vlog Loves Red Sews. So welcome back if you are an existing subscriber and welcome if you are new. So today is my weekly Sunday Sews sewing catch up where I talk to you all about what I've been up to, what I've been sewing, what has come into my sewing room and anything else, and some life updates from time to time as well. So today I am recording this on Saturday as I usually do, and it's a little bit later in the day today, and that is because I have been out this morning and then I've actually been doing a little bit of sewing, catching up on a few things, some few bits and pieces that I'm going to share with you today. And I also met up with a friend of mine this morning, Julie, and she is Jules1501 on Instagram, and we met up for a coffee this morning, sort of local. We both live fairly locally, so we met up and had a coffee and a chat and a sort of a catch up and a chit chat really. So that was really nice to see her. And then, as I said, I've done a little bit of sewing today, and yeah, it's been quite a nice chilled day today so far. So first of all, I will share what I'm wearing. I talked about this in my vlog last week and I decided to put this on today. So this is the McCalls M6992 sweatshirt that I made, and this is in a French terry that I got from Beyond the Pink Door, and I have actually paired it with a pair of Megan Nielsen Ash jeans that I made quite a while ago, and I thought the green and the jeans went quite well with the green in the top. So yeah, it's a really pretty top. I've got the green sort of neckband in and cuffs that kind of match with this as well. So yeah, it's a really pretty sort of floral top. So I've been wearing that today. So last week I talked about a couple of items that I was in progress with, and both of those have now been completed. So I'm going to share those with you today, and then I will talk about what my next up and coming plans are. And I've got a couple of new things into my room that I'm going to share with you today as well. So I talked about this pattern last week, which is the Plover pouch by Noodle Head. So a friend of mine had asked me if I would make up a couple of zipped pouches for her mum and her sister. She gave me the fabric, and I think I've previously shown you that it's a very cheap fabric. So there's two different fabrics here. These are just the offcuts that are left. So we've got this kind of cotton. They're very yeah, they're very kind of cheap poly sort of cotton, kind of craft cotton, and then this tiger print one. So she wanted a couple of sort of like zipped up pouches, and I suggested to her this pattern. I had this in my stash and I hadn't made it up yet, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to do that. I decided to go with the largest size, and if you see on the back, this is the largest size here. So it's a really nice little pattern. There's quite a lot of bits and pieces that you need, and they tell you obviously how much you need for small, medium and large. So I did use quite a bit of bits and pieces from my stash to make them, and obviously the outer fabric is predominantly the fabric that she gave to me. So they are all finished and I'm really quite proud of them actually. So they were a little bit of a labour of love, and I would possibly say that this is not really a beginner pattern. I don't know if it says on here what the skill level of this is. But yeah, I don't know if it says that particularly anywhere. I mean, you know, if you're a complete beginner, I would say this is probably not for you. If you've done a little bit of sewing, then providing you take your time and you follow all the steps, there is quite a lot of steps, and as you can see, I've kind of ticked off as I've gone. So you do have to kind of read everything carefully, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's massively difficult. but it is definitely slightly more challenging than just your basic standard sort of zipped pouch. So if you wanted to sort of move up from doing a standard pouch, then this would be a good step up. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed making these, and yeah, hopefully you will enjoy seeing what they look like. So the first one is this one here. So as you can see, the large is actually quite large. It's even though I cut out all the pieces, I think this actually turned out much larger than I was expecting. I don't know why, but I think until you actually see it made up, it's difficult to say. Oh look, Rafi is now on the move. 2 seconds. He literally does that to me every time I record. He gets out from his bed and then he wants to go back under his duvet. And as you can see, he's getting himself all comfy. So yeah, back to the bag. So yeah, even though I'd cut out all the pieces, I think until you start kind of making it up, I found it quite difficult to work out how big this was actually going to be. So I was quite surprised how big it was. So I would say that this is the largest size, and I would say it's probably more like a wash bag type size. So I did a contrasting panel on it here. So I picked out the black in the pattern and did the black contrasting. I have installed these poppers which work. So they're not just for show, so you can kind of unpopper it. Obviously this, you've got this kind of flapping around, so I think poppering that together just makes it look a little bit nicer. I had these nice little tags in my stash. I think I got these from like Plymouth Frocktails in the goodie bag last year, and I had one gold and one silver, so it worked out perfectly for these two makes. I had some continuous zipper tape in my stash which I previously got from Studio 77, and I think the colours in this worked quite nicely with the colours in the outer fabric. And then I added a silver zipper pull. I haven't taken the plastic off of that yet because I didn't want that to get too scratched, and again the other end has a popper as well. And then inside I used this fabric which I had previously made a dress out of. So you have a nice zipped pocket inside, and I put a nice little label inside, kind of a positive affirmation label, and I'll just unzip that so that you can see. So you've got an inner pocket there, and then on the other side you have these mesh pockets. I don't know how well you can see those. So funnily enough, I had some fold over elastic in my stash, and I thought the colours in this went really well with this particular mesh. So I had purchased the mesh, so I've got 2 pockets there. So yeah, that's the inside. Yeah, so this fabric, I don't know if you remember, but I made a summer dress out of this. So I kind of thought the colours in this picked out the colours on the outside quite nicely. So yeah, that is that one all finished, and this is all padded. You've got kind of fusible fleece attached to the inside layer, so it gives it a little bit more structure. I think when I send these off in the post to my friend, I think I'm going to try and pad them out with a bit of paper, like kind of scrunched up paper, just to keep the shape so that don't get too squished when they're travelling in the postal service. So yeah, that is the first one. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that has come out, and as I said, it was a really enjoyable make. And the second one is this one. So again, I think this looks quite super stylish actually, and this time I put gold or sort of brass type poppers on, and again that on poppers, so they are fully functioning, and I put the gold sort of handmade tag on that one. I decided to go with this zipper tape that I had in my stash, the kind of teal colour, and again I used the black contrasting. This was actually left over from another bag project that I'd previously made, and this is just a sort of a cotton just a black cotton. I think this might have been from First for Fabrics or somewhere like that, possibly originally. And then this one has a gold zipper end, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how that one has turned out. I love the lining for this one as well. So because this has got the tiger print, I decided to use this cotton poplin that I had in my stash, and it has tigers all over it. So this is the reason why I went for the teal zip, because I think that went quite well with this kind of fabric inside. Again, I put a label in it with a positive affirmation, the same zipper. The only downside with this one is that the tigers are upside down on this inner pocket. They aren't on this side, but they are on this side, so that was the only slight downside. I've made a note on the pattern piece for next time so that I know which way to place it up. I thought I was doing it the right way up, but then when I sort of made the pocket, unfortunately they were slightly upside down. And this one has some navy blue mesh in it, and also sort of some darker sort of cobalt, maybe kind of blue. And then I also had this fold over elastic in my stash, and I thought that kind of went quite well with that whole animal print theme as well. So that is the inside of that one. So yeah, I think it's I really love this one actually, with the sort of the tigers on the lining inside. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how they turned out, and I think my friend is going to be super pleased with these. I don't think she'll be expecting them to be quite as they are. I think she was probably expecting them to be a little bit more of a basic kind of zipped pouch. So I think she's going to be super chuffed with how they have turned out. I did have a little bit of fabric left over. In fact, I have got a tiny little bit here. What I've done today is I've actually cut out these pieces here. So I've got one of each of the I'll just try and show you. I've got the lining for both bags, and then I've got the outer for both bags as well, and I'm going to make scrunchies out of that. So I'm just going to make one scrunchie per piece of fabric, so they've kind of got matching scrunchies in the bag, and I just thought that might be a nice little extra to add in. And then I was trying to think what else to make. I don't want to have to go out and buy any more items. I have a pattern that I've used years and years ago, and this is something that I made sort of quite early on, but it's just a little tissue holder. So again, I have cut out one each for the outer fabric and one each for the inner fabric. So I'm just also going to make a little tissue holder to go inside the bag as well. So there's just a couple of little extras that she's not expecting, but it's just to kind of use up some of the fabric really, rather than have too much of it left over. I've got a tiny piece left over, so I may send that back with her, but she's not a sewer, so I don't know if she will actually make use of it or not. But yeah, I'll see what she wants to do with that. So they are the plover pouches all finished, and yeah, I'm really pleased. So let me know in the comments below what you think of those. Have you tried them? I would highly recommend them. I really enjoyed making those actually. It was a really enjoyable make, and they came together really nicely. The instructions are absolutely brilliant. Obviously it's quite involved make, so if you are very new to sewing, I would not recommend, as I mentioned before, but if you've got a little bit of experience, then I don't see why you couldn't do it. It's just quite involved, and there's lots of pieces that you need to cut out. I mean, the booklet is really good because it gives you these cutting instructions for each of the pieces. So I just kind of methodically worked through that and ticked off as I cut each piece out. I kind of ticked that off. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. So the other thing that I mentioned I have been working on is a shirt, and this is a it's called the Bellbird button-up shirt by Common Stitch. And I had not heard of this pattern company before, but when I was doing a search for a shirt, something a bit different, I came across this and I like the look of it. It is quite a boxy kind of style, and that sort of style tends to suit my my body shape. So I decided to purchase that pattern. I've mentioned it on my last couple of vlogs. I was doing a collaboration with one of the other Beyond the Pink Door ambassadors, a lady called Vicky, and we both realised that we had bought the same fabric, so we decided to do a collaboration together using that fabric. So it's kind of like one fabric two ways. So I'm going to share with you today the garment that I made, and then once I've shared that, Vicky has actually recorded a very small little video. She doesn't have a YouTube video, she is only on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is Vicky_makes_it. So I will put that across the screen. Do go and check her account out if you are on Instagram, because she makes some really beautiful things. She's got a lot of kind of makes on her grid, and yeah, she makes some really beautiful things. So I asked her if she would like to record a small video to put into this vlog, which she agreed to. So once I have shared my garment, I'm going to slot her video in, so that she'll probably just introduce herself and then let you know what she has made with hers. So I thought that might be quite nice for you to see that. And then obviously if you would like to go over and see her account and follow her on Instagram, then by all means please do, and I will pop her details in the comments section below. So yeah, as I mentioned, I had selected the Bellbird button up, and I decided to make this without any adjustments at all, so which is very, very unusual for me. But the shape of this and the kind of length and stuff, I thought I might actually be able to get away with not having to make any adjustments. I did make, did I make an adjustment on the sleeve? I have a feeling I might have just taken maybe an inch out of the sleeve. I can't remember now. But I made no other adjustments, and I originally had selected a size 10, and that is because the completed garment measurements put the finished garment measurements put the bust at for the 10 at 42.5 inches, and my bust is around about 40 inches. So I kind of thought maybe give myself 2.5 inches of ease. And then just before I cut it out, right at the last moment, I decided to go for the 12 instead. And the finished garment measurements for that was 44.25 inches. And I'm really, really glad I did that, because the blouse, it fits absolutely beautifully. But I think if I had cut the 10, I may have found it slightly snug across my chest. And yeah, I think maybe the buttons would have pulled very slightly. Thankfully they don't, and I'm so glad that I decided last minute to cut the 12. So 9 times out of 10 in patterns, I tend to go for size 14. And in this case, the 14 would have given me, I think, just that little bit too much ease. It's quite a casual sort of shirt. I think it is meant to be fairly loose fitting, but I think the 12 fits absolutely perfectly. So if you recall, we used this fabric here, which is a Lisa Taylor fabric, and this was purchased from Beyond the Pink Door. Because we are an ambassador, Andrea very kindly provides us with a discount code. So I did purchase the fabric with a discount code, and I absolutely love this fabric. So it's got this really beautiful design. I think it's very kind of wintry and sort of autumnal looking. It has this black background, and then it's got these pops of red. You've got little bits of green. These are actually like words, so this is writing. From a distance it doesn't look too much like writing, and it's kind of like almost like a purpley colour, I guess. You've got these little tiny pops of a bright kind of fuchsia pink in here. So yeah, my shirt is all finished. I finished this today. All I had left to do was to hem it. I put the collar on in the week on one of my sewing virtuals, and then Today I hemmed it, which didn't take me too long. I put my buttonholes in and then sewed my buttons on. My machine did 7, is it 7? 2, 3, 4, 6, sorry, 6 buttons. My machine did 6 perfect buttonholes with no issues at all. It completely behaved itself. The buttons went on beautifully. Everything lines up. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I can't believe how lucky I've been. So this is the shirt. As you can see, the underside of the fabric is white. So you can see that a little bit. The back of the shirt hangs slightly lower. But this is the blouse or shirt that I've made. It has long sleeves, and then the sleeves are finished with a just a small little cuff. And yeah, it's lovely and drapey. This fabric, I think, is like a viscose cotton, so it's a little bit thicker than a normal viscose. I would say it's more like a viscose twill type weight. And you have this lovely collar which went in beautifully. I decided to not top stitch. I decided to hand stitch. Oh, actually, it's there. I think I decided to hand stitch the whole collar in, just so that it was nice and neat. I didn't get this completely neat right in the very edge, but I don't think it's that noticeable. I found it quite difficult to, there's a tiny little bit of bulk here, but I think when I'm wearing it, it's not that sort of noticeable. I've got a lovely little label in here from Cozy Club Handmade, which I think goes beautifully, picks out the red, and I have put red buttons on from Pigeon Wishes, so they have slightly different sort of colours in them, but I think they go quite nicely with the blouse as well. And then on the back you have a yoke piece here, and it's fully concealed inside, which I think I forgot to mention. Probably should undo one of these so you can see that a little bit better. So the inside yoke is all fully concealed, so that is done with the burrito method. And then on the back you have this nice you've got this nice little pleat on the back, so it's just showing a little bit of light through there, but it's not actually a see-through kind of fabric. Yeah, and the back, as I mentioned, just hangs very slightly longer, so it's got kind of a slightly shaped hem to it, and it just kind of hangs a little bit lower. And the length of this is absolutely perfect on me. I think if you were much taller, you may possibly need to lengthen it. I'm not sure if I should have taken a little bit out across the top here as I normally do, but I think this, if I did that, it may have affected maybe the yoke. I think I'd have to think a little bit more carefully about where I take the length, possibly here. I think the underarm seam is maybe sitting very slightly too low on me, but I think because of the style of the shirt and the fact that it is quite kind of a loose casual sort of fitting shirt, I don't think it looks too bad, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. So I'm going to pop a couple of pictures in up here of me wearing it. I've taken some photos today, so you'll be able to see what it looks like on. I've paired it with some black jeans because I think that just kind of like looked nice. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I absolutely love it. And I think I've done a really good job, even if I say so myself. I think I've done a great job on sewing this up, and it's so neat, and everything just sewed perfectly on it. Even the collar came together very nicely. The only thing, I don't know whether it's that noticeable, but the way I cut the collar out, when I stand it up, it is obviously up the right way, and then when I fold it down, it's kind of upside down, but I don't think it actually notices. The only place it possibly would is on the back, because you can see there the flower is upside down compared to these, but my hair would generally cover that anyway, so I'm not too worried. And I think because it's a busy-ish print, I don't think that notices. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that. I'm going to pop in Vicky's little video now so that she can share with you what she's made, and you can see what her garment looks like. So I'm really excited to see what she's made with hers.
Hello, my name is Vicky and this is my very first collaboration, and I'm really happy to say that it's with the lovely Claire, who's been really friendly. I don't have a YouTube channel, so you can't go and watch one of my videos. So what we thought we'd do instead is I would record a little snippet for Claire's video and put it into Claire's. How this came about, so Tamlin of Sewn on the Time, she put a post up in our group asking what fabrics we'd bought. So we've bought these fabrics with our own money. So we bought the Lisa Taylor fabric, this one here, and it's called No Flowers, No Rain. I believe that's what it says on the fabric anyway, which is one of the reasons I really liked it. And also it just reminded me of like poppies, and with this time of year, I thought really wanted to buy the fabric. It's 100% viscose. It's on a dark background with lovely red flowers, and then green writing there. It just says no flowers, no rain, which I really like. I love that message. So I bought the fabric and had a look through my pattern stash. Don't have a massive pattern stash actually, but what I do have, well, I've got a massive fabric stash. But I don't have a massive pattern stash. But I did find this pattern. So it's a notches pattern, and you can make so many different variations. So you can make it into a skirt and a top and whatever else. I had 3 meters because that's all that was left of the fabric. So I decided to make the dress. You're supposed to do it, it said I needed 3.55, I think it was. I only had 3, but I thought, well, a little bit of pattern Tetris and it'll be fine. What you can't see when I'm wearing the dress is what I had to do. You can see here, because I didn't have that much fabric, it's kind of like it folds over and it's a self-facing. So I just use it like that. So I managed to get the whole midi dress out 3 meters, which is really cool, because it did say I needed 3.55, but it was a huge squeeze. Like I didn't have any millimeters on either end of the fabric, and the fabric pieces were definitely butted up against each other. But yeah, so this is how it turned out. I'll just stand up for you. I'll cut my head off, but that's fine. So it is a really cool dress actually. I've never sewn anything like this. So it sews up like this, and you have these like 2 ties that are just kind of, so this whole piece, this whole top piece, is one piece down there, and then the bottom piece is again one whole piece from the bottom to here. So the front is made up of 4 pieces, but they're like this top way and then this top way, and then they're kind of sewn together down the ties. Yeah, so how you wear it, you just tie it round like so, and just tie it in a little knot around the back. So yeah, it came out, I think, really well. I absolutely love it. So thank you, Claire, for giving me a couple of minutes on your platform. Really appreciate it. Hope my video hasn't been overly awful. Like I said earlier, it is the first time I've ever recorded anything. I don't have a fancy setup. You're literally dangling at the minute off my door handle in my utility room on my tiny little sewing space. Yeah, yeah, I guess it is what it is. If anyone's got any questions, please send me a message on Instagram. That's it. Thank you. Bye.
So I hope you enjoyed hearing from Vicky and everything that she talked about her make, and yeah, I hope you have enjoyed seeing our little collaboration with this fabric. And if you would like to purchase that fabric yourself, I'm not sure if Andrea still has that in stock. If she has, I will link it below, but it's one of the newer Lisa Taylor fabrics that has recently been released. So yeah, I would highly recommend. It's an absolutely beautiful fabric, and it completely behaved and was absolutely beautiful to sew with. So what is next on my plans now that I finished that? Well, as I mentioned before, I am trying to think about making kind of outfits, I guess. So next on my list, I think I'm gonna have to tackle the falconer pants. So this is my printout of the falconer pants, and at the moment I am actually a little bit undecided about what version to make. I think originally I was thinking the wide-legged version, and when I looked at the pattern today that I've got printed out, I realised I have actually only sent off the wide leg version to print. I don't have the barrel leg version printed out. It is actually only 3 pattern pieces that I need if I decide on this one, so I may possibly be able to just print those particular pattern pieces here at home and then stick the pieces together. But the fabric that I was planning to use is this lovely green needle cord. Now it has no stretch at all, and this I think goes really well with the blouse because you've got this particular green in the blouse. So I think the trousers in this with the blouse just will go perfectly together. So yeah, I'm very slightly undecided. My only issue is I've got 2 meters of the needle cord, and I am not entirely sure if the wide leg version would fit onto that. So I need to see if I can fit the wide leg version on. If I can, I may go with that. If not, then I may need to print out the barrel leg version so that I can check that. This is not going to be a mega quick make, so it may take me a little bit longer because obviously these are proper trousers with the zip fly and everything. So yeah, that's not going to be an overly quick make. So I may well slot in a kind of a quick make in between as well. So that is definitely on my plans to have a go at next. I did get the Bertha cardigan cut out. Now I had mentioned this in my previous vlog last week that I was using this kind of textured knit fabric. I am not entirely sure if it goes with this shirt now, so I've cut it out anyway because I think this will go with other things on its own. But I am planning to make a Marlowe cardigan in a fisherman's rib knit, which I had in my stash, which is black, and I think that will go much better with this particular blouse. So I do need to get the Marlowe cardigan cut out, and then I think the green trousers, that blouse, and then a black Marlowe cardigan will go lovely together. And then I've also, as I mentioned, I've got the Bertha cardigan, and this will go with other things, but I've got this cut out anyway because the Bertha cardigan is not actually too difficult of a make. So I don't think I mentioned this before, but the Bertha cardigan is actually a pattern from Tilly and the Buttons, and it comes in this particular book, Make It Simple. So it's one of the patterns in here, and I'm just going to see if I can go to the page so that you can see. So this is the page, and this is what it looks like on page. Joanna is actually wearing this. Yeah, so I have made it before, and it's a really nice sort of simple cardigan to make. It doesn't have any fastenings, so yeah, I'm planning to make it in that. And then yeah, they are pretty much my sort of plans over the next couple of weeks. And then what new has come into my sewing room. So I'm just going to share a couple of new-ish things that have come into my sewing room. So first of all, Vicky, who I just mentioned and that you will have heard from, she was actually having a little bit of a destash, and she had put some fabrics onto Vinted. She'd put on her Instagram page that they were on there, and one of the fabrics was a fabric that I had previously missed out on from Rainbow Fabrics, and they did a little while ago, they did a drop of Farm Rio jersey fabrics. And one of them I really love the look of, and I missed out on it, and Vicky was actually destashing a piece of that. So I think she'd actually bought a couple of pieces, and then she decided to destash one or two of them, and it is this fabric here. So it's nice and bright and colourful, and you can see on, where is it? You can see there, it has the name Farm Rio on there. But yeah, this is, it's got lots of different sort of bits and pieces on it, various different sort of vibes. This is actually like a viscose jersey, but it's actually quite kind of, I would say it's quite slinky. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be quite as slinky as it is. It's quite fine. I haven't really decided what to make with it. I've actually got 3 meters, so I don't think I would want to make a dress necessarily in it. Certainly not anything too close fitting, because I don't think I've necessarily got the figure for that. But I was kind of thinking maybe a close fitting top as maybe a little bit of a base layer. But if you have any other suggestions for that for 3 meters, then yeah, I would like to hear those suggestions. As I mentioned, it's quite as you can see, it's got a very slight sheen to it, and it's a little bit more kind of slinky than I was expecting, and it's very, very stretchy. So I think there's definitely there'll be some interesting patterns out there for it, but I just need to have a think and maybe a little bit investigate to see what to make with that. So yeah, but it's beautiful quality. And then a little while ago, I don't think I shared this with you, but Fabric Godmother had I think they had a flash sale on some coating fabrics, and I had a look, one of the fabrics kind of caught my eye, so I decided to go with it, and it is this one. So this is a lovely, it's a wool mix coating. It's actually fairly fine. It's not too thick. So I think it would make a kind of a nice sort of lightweight jacket or coatigan or something like that. But it's in this kind of houndstooth design. And yeah, I bought 2.5 meters of this. So I haven't decided what pattern I'm going to make with it. It's not in my immediate kind of plans to make something with, so that will just probably stay in my stash for a little while until I decide what I'm going to make with that. And then I mentioned to you last week that I had ordered a kit from Beyond the Pink Door, which was the Julia sweater. So I have recently made this sweater and I loved it. I've been wearing it quite a lot. So I have actually bought a kit from Andrea and it did arrive. So this is the kit. So I thought I would just share with you what I got, if I can get this out without. So it comes in this lovely box. You get a little thank you card, then you get a bag here which has got all of your kind of notions, interfacing, so you get everything to make the Julia kit. So you get the elastic, you get the poppers for the front, and I went with the dark green version of this kind of boucle, and it has these, I'm not going to get it all out of the box, but it has these kind of speckles in it. So this one has these little kind of lighter speckles, but it's mainly kind of orange speckles, and I really loved that kind of colorway. I'll just bring it a little bit closer, and then you get a matching dark green needle cord, and that is for the placket. So yeah, that is my kit. So that is all arrived now, and now I'm not going to be able to get this back in the box. So I'll have to do that after the call, after this after the call. I'll have to do that after this vlog. But yeah, so that is the kit, so I'm looking forward to getting that made up. I do need to give that a wash, put that through the machine before I think about cutting that out. And then one other thing that arrived this week, I don't know if I mentioned this, but quite a while ago I decided to purchase the Fabric Godmother Advent Calendar. I know in previous years there has been a little bit of controversy over it. The price of it is fairly expensive. I can't actually remember how much I paid for this one. I think possibly 100 or 120, something like that. But it's this year they sold it as something a little bit different, in that it's going to be, the Advent calendar will contain a couple of projects. I think maybe 2 or 3 projects. So from what I can understand, you open the things daily, and then there will be items in there to kind of make up a project, sort of over the course of the month. So it would just sounded quite intriguing, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to give it a go, because I think it sounds a little bit different. So it has arrived this week. This is the size of the box, so it is absolutely huge. It's actually quite heavy, and there is a sticker on here that says do not open until the 1st of December. So I have just put this underneath my desk. I've left it as it is. I have no idea what's inside. So yeah, I'm looking forward to opening that up. But that kind of leads me on to Vlogmas. So this year I think I'm going to plan to actually do Vlogmas on a daily basis. Last year was the first time I kind of participated, and I did kind of a weekly, I think I was doing kind of like a weekly Vlogmas really, and with a few days, but it did end up with my videos quite long. It took quite a lot of editing. I don't know obviously how it's going to go doing it daily. I've never done it before on a daily basis, and obviously there is quite a lot of work that goes into these vlogs as it is. So, but I do quite fancy giving it a go. I thought it might be quite interesting to do my Fabric Godmother calendar unboxing on a daily basis. I have also got a Jazz and Wow advent calendar, which I believe is on its way. This year I just opted for the 12-day calendar, so that is on its way, so I'll have that every other day. And then I also have an advent calendar, an embroidery one, and it is by Make Box. So I did start a summer version of one of these, which unfortunately I did not complete. Got nowhere near completing it, if I'm honest. So I don't know how this will go, but I really want to give this a go and kind of try and do these embroideries on a daily basis for Vlogmas, because I thought that might be quite nice. And then at the end of it I've got a nice kind of Christmassy hoop, so I'll just bring that a little bit closer. So these advent embroidery kits are really good, that you get everything in the box. You get your hoop, you get your cotton square, so this time it will be red. You get a backing square of felt, you get the embroidery threads, you get ribbon, needle and pins, paper pattern, carbon paper, and a couple of booklets to tell you how to do the embroidery. So it is a really good kit. I'm quite new to embroidery, so we shall see how it goes. So I'm not completely committing to it, because hopefully I will get that done on a daily basis, but you know, we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a few viewers. I mean, obviously there is quite a few people that do Vlogmas, and I am not expecting everybody to watch me, because it's just impossible. I struggled to keep up with watching the vlogs last year, so I think realistically you kind of have to pick and choose a couple of vloggers that you're gonna watch, and then maybe dip in and out of a couple of others. So I'm fully prepared for that. I know I'm not going to get everybody watching, but you know, even if a few of you do, then hopefully you will find it interesting and you will enjoy seeing what I get up to through the month of December. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I do have a couple of things coming up. So I have very kindly, I have been gifted another bag making kit. So this is a DIY leather bag from Babylon Leather. I had previously made a red leather one, which I have a separate vlog on. And I have very kindly been gifted another kit, so that has arrived. I'm not going to share it on here because I'm going to do a separate video all about that, and that will be the unboxing, and then it will be me sort of sewing it up and then showing you the finished article. But it's a little bit different to my previous one. I've gone for a completely different colour, and I'm really excited to make another one of those up because they are really, really fantastic kits. So obviously with Christmas coming up, I do have a discount code for that, so I will pop that in the comments section below. And if it's something that you're interested in, and especially obviously with Christmas coming up, they make fantastic gifts, and you can actually use the discount code with any other offers that Babylon Leather are running as well. So the codes are kind of stackable. So I think my code may get you 10% off, I believe. But you can use that with other codes that they also have as well. So it's well worth going to have a look. They do a lot of bags that kind of mimic the designer handbags, I guess. So yeah, and the leather quality is absolutely fantastic. So I recommend going to have a look and seeing if there is anything there that takes your fancy. So that is pretty much everything from me today. I'm going to leave it there, and I am going to go off and edit this vlog and get this up ready for Sunday. So I hope you have a good week, you get some good sewing in, and I shall catch up with you again in my next video. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and give me a comment below if you have enjoyed anything in this video today. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.